I want to go over here. Can I cut across? Oh no, I have to follow the path. Of course I've got to follow the path. Okay, path's always getting in my way. It's the complete opposite of what they're designed for in the first place. Is that an item I can take? I want to take that item. I want it. Give it. Give it to me. Fine. See if I care. Hello, palace guard. He doesn't seem frightened, just fascinated. Well, that's lovely. Hello, other palace guard. You're looking for the king. Talk to Kanika, the one in the white robes. The roars are in the garden, not the palace. Ambassador, the palace is barred. His eyes flicked your jaws and down. My, Grandma. What big jaws you have. I didn't know I was a girl. I gave him a very drawling Southern American accent. Or Texan, I don't know, I'm not from America. Have you been long in the city? As long as you know to give the slums a wide berth, there are many fine things to see here. A walk might be in order after the treaty's signed, yes? Oh, I don't walk. Haven't got the legs for it. Aha! And he follows that up with a slap to his thigh. Aha! In all seriousness, I'd be pleased to give you the tour. Don't worry about the slums. I have an excellent armed guard. Don't trust the city plotters. They've never seen anything outside a drill. That seems like an unusually direct thing to say to an ambassador. Oh, sorry, broke character. That seems like an unusually direct thing to say to an ambassador. Why not be frank about things? I have great respect for the Naga Empire. I want them to respect us. I know you wouldn't have come out here if you were blind to our empire's weakness, so why not just get that point out into the open and move on to more pressing matters? Are those matters concerning your city or your own interests? The city's interests are my interests. The reverse is true as well. Just remember that whatever we grant you today, Bhimra will always have more to offer. Good luck in there. Why, thank you, my friend. I'm making lots of friends on this little here diplomatic mission. Well, hang on. Where the fuck do I go then? There's Kanika, King and Queen, lesser nobility, and... Alright, fuck it. Let's go... I'm gonna go see Karan. I think going and seeing Karan is important, right? Come on, snake legs. Shuffle a bit faster. Come on, keep going. You can do it. You can do this. Yeah, woo boy! How long is he going to be sweeping that one spot of ground for? That's what I want to know. Here's a servant that refuses to speak to me because he's a racist bastard. Right then, noble woman. A bargain's well and good, but what about... Wait. But what will you do about these slums? We're growing a garden of weeds whether we intend to or not. Can I go in here, please? No. Name's Praveen. You'll forgive me. I'm just here to oversee the gardens. 30 years of advising the treasury was enough politics for this lifetime. May I commend you on your magnificent work. I'll be honest, I didn't used to know a thing about gardening. About a year ago I realized that I was getting to the point where every palace administrator without a bill hook in his hand was going to have to turn his attention to the slums and all that unpleasant business, so I picked up a bill hook. Haven't looked back since either. Interesting. Nobody here seems keen to talk about slums. Yeah, well, I think people have finally come around to the idea that the slums are what they are. What's the point in worrying about them? We can't feed them all. The royals are dead set against purging them. We can't afford any of the suggested uses for them. So, you're going to let your citizens starve to death? Slum dwellers aren't citizens. We can't use them, and we don't want them. Even if we did, we couldn't save them. It's a matter of knowing what we can save and what we can't. The slums suffer, as they always have, and as they always will, until the disease and the famine gets to them, as in some day it must. The farms will crack and turn to dust. There's nothing we can do about it. The people may spit on the name of their king and take to the streets in riots. With all of our problems, none of that can be helped. But the day we slip the great things Bhimra has built, this garden, our palace, our way of life, then we are truly lost beyond hope. Your premise is flawed. Gardens don't make a city what it is, people do. Can't say I agree with you, but hey, you're not from around here. I guess you wouldn't understand. Wow, what a bitch. Go on. You've got more important work to do. Yeah. Ruin us, just ruin us. We take your hungry mouths and bottomless stomachs in exchange for the promise of food. Promises take time. Time is not something Bhimra can afford. Right. Hello. 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 Talk to me. God, fine. He yelps and almost drops his broom on his foot. Like an ass. Cushy. Hello, Cushy. I'm called Cushy. I've been asked to show you some of the garments I sew in my village, if it pleases you. Your sewing is of exceptional quality. Do you sell your work inside the city? No, I'm afraid we aren't permitted inside the city. Not anymore. A few peasants left and didn't come back, and now Yagesh is very careful. I sell these through the traders that come to the village, but even they are coming less and less often. I'm sorry. You don't need to hear all this. Please excuse me. Please don't let me trouble you. Please, sir, don't let me trouble you. Oh no. First it was food markets. Now even the palace has to cut back. Son of a bitch. Karan! Did the riots, when we arrived, not worry you? I knew Bhimra was only sheltering our refugees to soften us towards this trade agreement, but I'm starting to worry for their safety. I think I ought to go to the slums to see things for myself. The whole reason I came here was to see their education and integration into Bhimra society. Absolutely go, but insist on guards going with you. Could be very dangerous out there. I'll see what I can arrange. We'll talk later tonight. Until then, I think we have to assume the worst. I just made snake noise. Are you all impressed with my vocal alacrity? This isn't a treaty so much as a trade. One set of problems nobody wants to deal with for another. My word, Anaga. Is it really true that you can eat an entire sheep in a single meal? Fucking hell, man. What? Dick? I just saw I got a new trait. Disarming. Chitra doesn't mind using humour to make friends. That's hilarious. I use words to put doubt and uncertainty to people. And then use those words to make friends. Haha. Right, what we got here? People. Yagesh, nobleman, outgoing, probably a little too much so. Lakshmi, noblewoman, very serious, doesn't want to be here. Madhu, noblewoman, very pleasant, probably more than you should have expected. Cool. Cool. Shit, Scott. Scene, a scene, it's a goddamn arms race. I'm stuck. There we go. I'm nodding shoulder right on, but I digress. Should we go see the king and the queen? Why are there so many sticks lying around where there's so many people sweeping them up? That's what I want to know. Warm greetings, my name is Kanika, and I am priestess and advisor to the royal family. I have been asked to offer you apologies for their lateness. Stiff, stern, not at all. I would know the reason. The royals are reconferring with one of their advisors. There is a fundamental disagreement which they are hoping to resolve. I'm sorry, I was under the impression your king and queen were absolute rulers. They are. I have to admit I'm a little more comfortable with face-to-face talks than formal political meetings. If you're finished with all of your other business here, I'd like to talk with you about a few things before the treaty signing is underway. Then let's talk. I know there were angry mobs when you entered. There's a young priest in the temple district, a man named Ranveer, who brings bread to starving slum dwellers. Apparently, he's been claiming that the Naga refugees in our slums are responsible for Bhimra's continued misfortunes, as though you caused the droughts just by being here. He's a lunatic, and we'll bring him to heel. But he's not the root of the problem. You already don't like us, do you? We don't like you yet. There's a lot of fear and prejudice to overcome. Most already have, because they stand to profit. I suppose the slums fear that not enough of the food will make its way to them, or perhaps they're just more superstitious. We are taking steps. We've hired a mercenary captain and his company to provide a permanent defensive perimeter around the slums and prevent anyone from crossing over into the city proper, where... I see the guards signalling. You can start negotiating now. Oh good, what if I wander over here? You kept me waiting long enough, you son of a bitch. My apologies to both of you for the wait. Who? What? I'm one person, you dumbass. It's been a long week. Not at all. No wait, why am I breaking character? Not at all, great king. Right. Since we're already running late, we'll just have to skip the fun parts. No introduction, chatting, food tasting, any of the stuff that makes you want to get up in the morning and actually sign one of these things. What do I do? With apologies, signing this treaty is exactly why I got up in the morning. Really? I wish we had a few nobles like you. I think Vijay here is just about the only man in Bhimra who can ride a horse and do a decent day's work. Ha! Well, that's one thing he can do that I can't. Right you are. Hey, bitch, you're supposed to say, nah, you do loads of work, I'm sure, and then pat me on the head and I'll, like, flicker my tongue at you like a snake. Now, where would you like to begin? We are here to discuss the terms of the contract, so we will settle that first. You will be pleased to know that most of what you've offered we've prepared to accept outright. We're not going to haggle over the trade routes and schedules you prepared. Our only concern regards your immigrants. 100 merchants, craftsmen and skilled labourers over the next month. What seems to be the problem? We understand the needs of the Naga Empire. Bhimra's slums are a constant reminder of how poor environments can jeopardise honest tradesmen. But that's the first problem there. We can't guarantee your skilled workers will find employment in the city, not when so many of our own have been rendered destitute. Our trade will make your city and our merchants here rich. The economy will be restored. In the balance of time, perhaps, but taken all at once, they'll do more harm than good. We'll take some of them now and the rest later. $20. Okay. Very well. 20 will arrive within this month. Much more reasonable. It will still be problematic, but less so. We had meant to talk to you about the unfortunate anti-Naga sentiment in some parts of the city. We really do not believe it constitutes a threat. After all, the Naga refugees remaining in our slums have lived free of harm for months. I trust that you have things under control. We aren't exactly sure what the roots of the discontent are. Ignorance, I suppose, unjustified fear of Naga. But we know that the mob was the work of one priest, Ranveer. Perhaps Kanaka has already told you about him. A lot of people listen to him. Why? We'll never know. Vijay has been speaking to him personally. Does Ranveer have grievances we can address? Ranveer is unusual. He claims that Banka Mundi, whom his temple serves, has sent him with a vision of how to end the drought and bring prosperity to the slums. It involves many things, but the key point is that we should shun your empire. He was not responsive to most of my attempts at negotiation. So what was he responsive to? Nothing that is currently viable, so we will need to deal with him another way. He can't be bought, I promise you. Bold, or bold? Perhaps something less direct? Turn his followers against him, maybe? You would think. I have a few plans myself, but they will require resources, and we are rather thin on those for the reasons which will be explained shortly. The Naga Empire can give you extra resources for the duration of this threat. It seems appropriate. Well, that gives us much more options to work with. Thank you very much. I suppose there's just one more thing then, isn't there? Vijay, this was your idea. Do you want to explain it? You may have already heard that much of our profits from this trade exchange will go towards retaining the services of a mercenary company. They will provide a barrier between the city proper and the slums. With luck, they'll eventually be able to keep peace in the slums. I wouldn't trust mercenaries with so crucial a task. I understand your reservations, particularly because of how this decision affects you. We will need to clear out areas of the slums to provide housing for them, as well as some of our own switty dellers. Yes. Obviously, this means that those mercenaries are in your interest as well as ours. It is long past a representative of the Naga Empire met with your refugees in the slums. Currently, this is not possible. Therefore, I propose that once our mercenaries arrive, you, my wife, and myself venture out into the slums under a personal protective guard of these men. Naturally, you are at liberty to refuse. Am I going to get killed if I go? Not at all. I relish the opportunity. Then our business for today is concluded. If you will give us a moment to confer with our scribes, we will draw up the final documents. A pleasure to do business. Hey, woo. So, why are you telling me that there's new map? This isn't new map. This is the fuck. Oh. This is old map. That's the same map. I've got new traits. An inspiration. Chitra will go into harm's way for the sake of the Empire. Yeah, fuck yeah, boy! VJ. Advisor. Hardworking. Stressed. Thinks this deal is too risky, but overruled. Queen. Smart. Adaptive. Involved. King. Gregarious. Jokey. Forward-thinking. Kanaka. A priestess and advisor. Seems to be doing well for herself. Good. Good for you, Kanaka. Good for you! That was everything I believe. Right. I'm sorry, but the King and Queen are discussing other important matters. You should return to your apprentice and enjoy the banquet. I was halfway through here. It's in a meeting, and now I can't get past this rock. For saying they've got such a big workforce of gardeners, there's a lot of shit lying around, isn't there? Hi, Rhea. Sup? Sup, baby? Baby? In Naga. You're going to go with them into the slums. Are you sure about this? It's risky, yes, but it's also a good faith gesture. Peace and prosperity are worth sticking your neck out for. Peace? We just listened to half an hour of people telling us how much they love the Naga, whilst meanwhile, just beyond the palace walls, there are riots breaking out because we dared to show up. This place isn't even at peace with itself. And then I choose. I'm a confident mofo, yeah. I'm sure they'll be smart enough to allocate our foodstuffs towards the slums. That way, any potential uprising will be quelled. I don't know about this. How is the confident option? Neither do I. Rhea, you'll do fine. I'll do fine. Everything will be alright. I promise. That's not what I mean. I mean, I can't shake this feeling that nothing we did matters. I feel like when they tell the story of Bhimra and the Naga Empire 100 years from now, they'll spend a breath on what Chitra accomplished at the party before moving onwards to the great, vast and terrible inevitability. And I'm afraid neither of our peoples are doing anything to prevent it. I know, I'm sorry. Please, let's just gather the retinue together and go home. Hey! The deal was signed later that night. 2 months later, Chitra would venture out with the royal family, the court spy Vijay, and a contingent of Captain Shyam's mercenaries to serve as bodyguard. Only Vijay and the mercenaries would return. Oh, what? Acting in the chaos, Vijay gathered support from the nobles to form a temporary ruling council, with him at the head. Shyam was charged with keeping further riots at bay. Unruly outlying farms would be managed by the recently widowed noblewoman Lakshmi. Ranveer would represent the interests of the priests in the slums. To appease the Naga Empire, Rhea was appointed Minister of Trade. Months passed, the temporary council failed to dissolve, whispers of foul play faded, and still the monsoons failed to return. They fucking killed me! What? He was such a cool character, motherfucker! No! Why am I dead? That's not nice. Nice people don't kill snake people. You are Tanya, a peasant, 15 years old. Tanya sometimes catches word of what's happening in the other villages, and it's never good. Merchants arrive with rumours of open revolts, only to whisper hushed warnings about spies within the populace, watching and waiting for any sign of rebellion. However, Tanya's village has not yet seen any violence. Lakshmi, the noblewoman in charge of the farmlands, has run this village personally ever since the death of her husband. He was such a nice man as well. Her soldiers keep one half of the peace, and tradition keeps the other. In the midst of this, Tanya is about to be married. It is not long before her future and that of her village will be decided. Right, who am I? I'm intelligent, mofo. Tanya is a gifted, rational thinker. She is also literate, unusual for a peasant. Only child, Tanya grew up without any siblings. There have been times in her life when she felt strangely alone, which leads us very eloquently onto loner. Tanya never had many friends. Juhi is one of the few people Tanya has ever been truly comfortable around. There you are. Why is it you always mope off alone when Juhi's busy with work? Couldn't you find anyone else to amuse yourself with, instead of skittering off in some dark hole like a beetle? Right, she's gonna be a bitch. I'm gonna make Tanya be a bitch. I was just doing some reading. I didn't want to do it in public because I knew Mistress Lakshmi was returning today. It's not good for you, you know, you or Juhi. You've both got such small families, so you're going to need to have lots of friends to help with little crisis once you've got your own households. Nobles. They like things real, clean, simple. They like their peasants to do what they're supposed to, when they're supposed to, and without any fuss. Because when things are bad, and they have been plenty bad lately, they like knowing that some little thing isn't going to be the fire that burns their field to the ground. And when it comes to keeping us right, they aren't too subtle. You know, your parents wanted to talk to you. I think they've been looking for you all morning. That's never good news. If I'd known, I would have stayed hidden. Well, you can't hide from bad news forever, can you? Got to face things teeth first. Go on, they're waiting for you. Yeah, they are. And with that, my fellow deluded cultist, I can't even remember what the fuck you called anymore. I'm going to carry on with the game because I've just realised I'm not going to call this an episode. I'm probably just going to cut it as and when. So, yeah, let's continue, shall we? Yeah, woo, more game, yay! Yep, that'll do it.